9 innings, a 42-minute rain delay later, but the Phillies get the win in Pittsburgh. 2-1 the final score, their third win in a row. We'll hear from Ruben Amaro Jr. and from Rob Thompson, get some clubhouse reaction in just a minute. But before that, welcome into Phillies PostGame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. I'm Taryn Hatcher. He's Ricky Bottalico. You look like you're bursting at the seams with thoughts here.
Well, no, I mean, in all honesty, I thought the pitching was fantastic for the Phillies in this game. I thought Zack Wheeler came out and did exactly what he wanted to do. Kind of had the Pirates in the palm of his hand. But, I mean, offensively, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you're looking at a team that needed a home run by Kyle Schwarber. Thank goodness, because he had a base running mistake earlier on in the ball game. But he hits the 2-run homer. He had himself a nice little game. He was 2 for 2, 3 walks. I think that's a special ball game for him. But I mean, then you look down the lineup and it's like Trey Turner, 0 for 5. Let's go, Trey. Whenever you feel like picking it up, we're waiting for you. So it's just one of those things where I feel like this is one of those games that, okay, we got by that game. Let's just move on. Let's not even, if you're the Phillies right now offensively, you're just thinking to yourself, let's just get till Saturday night.
All of that, and I didn't even ask a question yet on this show, so we have
more.
a lot to talk about.
There is a lot.
You started to talk about the offense a little bit, so we'll get into the deeper numbers in that a little bit later in the show, but I do want to mention one stat that's very interesting. Phillies stranded bases loaded 3 times tonight, 0 for 3 with bases loaded tonight, 2 for 20 with bases loaded in the last month. And as you mentioned, and I know we will go into the numbers specifically just a little bit, it's a lot of it is top of the order struggles, save Schwarber, who will hit one out of the park on any given day.
Yeah, but I mean, then you have a guy in Bryce Harper who's not hitting many home runs. He will hit from gap to gap, the line drive guy. But, I mean, Trey Turner's really not giving you anything right now. And that's scary because if he could ever get it going, if he could ever kind of find that feel in the batter's box, I think he's the key. And it sounds ridiculous that a guy that really hasn't gotten it done all year, but I think he is the key. I think if everybody sees that he starts going well and they could relax around him, I think that makes everybody better. And sometimes it just takes, like I said this before, 1 or 2 games just to get a feel. He does not have a feel
and
right
the thing is that you know for Trey that based on his career, he's capable of it.
Yeah.
There's something going on probably mentally, some mental holdup. And the thing is, and I talked to Rob Thompson about this, there have been games where he felt like this is the start of something, and it doesn't quite catch because there's probably just been lots of
Yeah, he's had a couple games where he's gone off, and you're like, all right, this has to be where he's going to start on a little bit of a roll. And then you see him go back to this old thing of fishing. And I call it fishing because he's expanding the strike zone constantly. Not even with 2 strikes. He'll have an 0-0 count, and he'll swing at a slider that starts on the outside part and goes a foot off the plate. I think him being more selective, him being more patient, that's the only way that it's going to benefit him. If he continues to want to, bombard a pitcher early on in the count, it's not going to work because there's a book out on him now. And the book on Trey Turner right now, without even thinking about it, is he is chasing.
All right, let's hear now from Ruben Amaro Jr., who's out in Pittsburgh. We'll go to him on the crossover here. And Ruben, I do want to. I'm sorry, Ricky has a lot of emotions. Ruben, are you surprised? He's got a lot to say. Does that shock you?
He's an emotional man.
He is.
He's an emotional man.
He's a deep, deep fella. All right, let's bring it back to shallow waters here, though, Ruben. Just you and me now. I want to ask you. I'm kidding.
Very shallow.
Well, that's why we hang out together, Rube. So I want to talk about Trey Turner. He gets the day off on Wednesday. The Phillies have a day off yesterday. I know it was sort of meant to be a reset. Then tonight, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. There was that odd stutter step as he was getting to first while Pittsburgh was doing splits at first base. What do you think is going on with Trey? What is the remedy that you would try to implement here potentially, Ruben, if there is one right now?
I think the remedy is to try to push him back in the order. I think the situation, he's just not feeling it. I mean, he's obviously not, and this is as mental a game, and Ricky knows as well as anybody, it's as mental a game as there is in any major sport as far as I'm concerned. And right now, Trey Turner's just not, timing-wise, whatever mindset. I think if Topper just kind of slides him back in the lineup a little bit, takes maybe a little bit of heat off, and he just relaxes. And he starts playing baseball again and having fun, because right now it seems like it's kind of getting to him. He's not making hard contact either, which is a concern, and he's swinging a lot of pitches out of the zone, taking strikes, swinging at balls. And when you see that from a player of this caliber, you know that there's something, something not quite right with his overall approach. And, maybe putting him back in the lineup a little deeper will, let him relax a little bit.
Ruben, is 2 really nice games by Zack Wheeler in a row. Has he crossed over that line from good to great again this year?
I think so. I mean, I've been a Zack Wheeler fan, and again, I think a couple of years ago he should have been the Cy Young Award winner. No disrespect to anybody else, or I guess it was Burns, but to me, he's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. When you can utilize your fastball and literally tell hitters, here comes the fastball, and put it where you want with the life that he has on it, 95, 96, 97 miles an hour, 4 seams, sinking it from time to time. If you can throw that pitch and have that many swings and just miss hits, swings and misses, whatever the case may be, and then punch outs on it, I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. It's nice to see him working down the mound, as you guys talked about a little bit prior in pregame. It's just an electric arm, and he looks like he's in such great rhythm right now. Hopefully that does not stop, because it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Hey, Rube, bookending now, I guess, the pitching staff going from Wheeler to Craig Kimbrel. How nice was it to see him go back in, get a save, once again in a tight situation? That's kind of been his hallmark as of late, is coming into these one-run games. After what happened in Cleveland, be able to see Kimbrel come out of this funky game, rain delay and all, where the Phillies offense just didn't seem to have it tonight. Kimbrel be able to get back on pace, where he's been incredibly efficient for the Phillies up to this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the league. It's not an easy thing to do, is to have that, you have to have a very, very short memory. And his ability to do that and to feel confident about his stuff. I mean, the fastball location's been excellent pretty much all year long. And he's mixing in, an occasional breaking ball just to keep them off that fastball. But again, when you're throwing a fastball and the whole world knows that you're throwing one and you're getting it by guys and they're mishitting it, that's a really good sign. And he's pitching confidently. It's nice to see him bounce back so quickly.
Well, Ruben, it's been delightful to be on the receiving end of some of your incomparable wisdom. I will see you in the shallow waters of the kiddie pool while Ricky is philosophizing in the diving well. His face right now, Ruben,
By the way,
I wish you could see it in person.
Emmy-type stuff right there from Ruben.
Isn't it, Ricky?
I mean,
yeah, it was.
That's what we're looking for.
If this program doesn't land your names engraved on an Emmy somewhere, I will take responsibility for that with the two of you are putting out here tonight. Ruben Amaro Jr.
Make it happen for Ricky. Let's make it happen for Ricky.
You know what,
Ruben?
Yeah, let's put him on our backs and let's carry him across the finish line, Rube. Thank you so much for your time.
Got it.
All right, let's take a look at the National League standings right now. We know we're zooming in on that wild card because the Phillies are now tied with the Giants for that top wild card
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Look
at this.
It's so tight.
I mean, 5 teams in the running.
Close.
It's not going to go away anytime soon. The Phillies just got to keep on winning. I mean, these are teams you have to beat. And that's why it's like cringeworthy tonight. Only 2-1 that you beat that team. I thought the Phillies had some opportunities to maybe win that game 5-1, 6-1. And as a matter of fact, I mean, when you really look at the game, it should have been 2-2. All
right, it's time for Logger Up, Ricky Bottalico.
It is time
here
for
on Phillies
Logger Up.
Post-game live presented to you by Cure Auto Insurance. And who could we be loggering up with other than Zack Wheeler with what he did tonight? 6 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 11 Ks, 1 walk, 19th time striking out double-digit numbers here with 11 tonight, as I mentioned. He just had all the right stuff in Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean, getting ahead. This is something that he's been able to do here lately. I mean, you get ahead 0-1, and then all of a sudden, he was toying with people. He was playing with this Pirates team. And when you could do that, it almost feels like you go back to a time where you were dominant, a time when you almost felt like, I don't care if it's high school, I don't care if it's college, you could have been in games where you felt like these guys can't touch me, and that's the way he was throwing the baseball tonight. He had some real good breaking stuff on top of it. I think he had 5 swings and misses on breaking balls, and then his fastball was just on point. And the crazy thing about his fastball is that it was moving all over the place. And I'm not just saying speed-wise, I'm talking about side-to-side movement. He had some nasty movement today, so that's only a bonus. If he's got movement on top of his jump on his fastball, good luck.
And there's the numbers behind that nasty stuff. I genuinely wonder, I mean, I'm sure he could have gotten through that 7th inning if it wasn't for the rain delay, but I wonder how much more he would have had in him if it wasn't for the 42.
I think he would have thrown that last batter. I think that would have been it. Yeah, he probably would have thrown that last strike or whatever. He could have ended up with 12 Ks in this ball game. But I thought that was one of his best outings of the season. I think he's put 2 back-to-back now. So he's going in that direction where you need him to go, because all these games now mean so much. You can't have, he had that injury last year around this time where he missed basically a month of the season. You can't have that.
And after he pitches a gem and it ends up a 1-0 loss, you're glad today he pitches a gem and it's up a 2-1
Barely
win.
won.
You don't get a lot of help, but you got enough tonight. All right, let's send it out to Pittsburgh right now and hear from Rob Thompson.
They're laugher.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. We love those one-run games. So tough break with Wheeler there, just getting how he was going.
Yeah, I mean, but they tried to get him, finish that half inning off, but it was raining so hard they had to pull it. And it rained so much that they couldn't get it on the fields. It is what it is, but he pitched great. I thought his command was great. Two-seamer was really good. Yeah, gave us what we needed.
Was there like a cutoff point? Was there a length of time that you were potentially considering bringing him back out?
Well, he was at 90 pitches, so I mean, if it had been 20 minutes, I would have shut him down. One, because he's got so many pitches on him, and 2, we got 17 in a row here, so he's not going to get an extra day anywhere.
I know you're kind of tongue-in-cheek joking about it. I mean, you've played a lot of close games here in the last month or so. What kind of, and you've won a lot of them, which is, I guess, the upside, but what kind of cumulative effect do you think that can have? And how much harder do you think you guys are kind of making on yourselves right now?
Actually, when you win close games, I think it's good for a team because it builds character and it shows a little bit of toughness of what you're all about. And it shows how these guys grind and how resilient they are. So, the more playoff-like games you can play, you don't want to play them every day, but I think you learn from that.
I think those last 3 from Wheeler have been pretty good. You've seen more of what you usually see from Zack.
Yeah, I think it's more command. The velocity is about the same, 96, 97, but the command's been really good. Walk rate's been down. Right. 11 punch outs tonight, so that's pretty good outing.
Play up the middle by Turner, given the week that he's had defensively.
Really good. I mean, I thought we played well defensively all night. Stott came and charged the ball and kind of killed the hop, and Harper did the same thing, and Trey's play up the middle, and I thought we played well behind Wheels.
I know Schwarber been scuffling here for a few days. How good was it to see him on base all 5 times?
Yeah, really good. The last one was an intentional walk, but it's good to see him get on base because that's what we need. We need, obviously, his home run tonight, too.
Early on in the delay, you're thinking that Hoffman's your guy there? Like, when do you kind of figure that out?
Before the game. You mean in that spot?
In the delay, yeah. I mean, like,
oh,
it's a delay,
yeah.
So you're
So,
thinking Hoffman's my guy there.
So before the game, we run through all the scenarios. Not rain, obviously, but where guys are pocketed, and that was his pocket anyway. So it worked out pretty well.